Welcome back, Global War 1939. We're starting a brand new game versus the Hilltop Pillbox. Someone that's not a stranger to the community. This channel's been around for, I believe, 10 years, maybe even longer. But he'll be taking on the role of the Axis, while I'll be taking on the role of the Allies, kind of flipping the script. So for our turn one, we'll be starting with the Soviets and Communist China. For our purchases, the Soviets have 15 to spend. Communist China have 3. So we'll be buying 1 infantry for China and 2 elite guards, 3 infantry for Russia. For our opening turn for Communist China's pretty easy turn. We'll be conducting 1 combat, which is just a walk-on. So we'll take 1 infantry from Yunnan and walk up to Shahar, taking that territory, increasing our economic base from 3 to 4. And for our non-combat move, moving our cavalry and the rest of the infantry into Yunnan. Unit placement is 1 infantry in Yunnan. So that's how that looks. And with the latest update, 8.2, I believe, the Communist China has been awarded 1 extra cavalry unit. So very interesting indeed. For the Russia itself, we have 2 battles to declare. We have East Poland and the Baltic states. So under the Soviet-Germany agreement, if Warsaw falls, then we are allowed to attack Eastern Poland, which is great because it's also linked to economic bonus of $5. So by taking these 2 territories is actually worth 8 for us. So we certainly want all that. But we're not at war as of yet. But the only exception to fighting, we are allowed to fight in Finland and to attack them. It doesn't matter if they're Finnish or German. We're allowed to fight in those 3 territories, which is great. Other than that, that's pretty much our only restriction until we're fully at war, whenever the Germans decide to attack, or we get our economic base to 48 plus, and then we're allowed to declare war. We're also allowed to declare war against the Japanese if we do so choose, which probably might be a thing. Yeah, so we do have on our western flank, we do have 2 battles, so we'll be going into the Baltic states. All right, into the Baltic states, we will be going in with 2 infantry from Baska, a cavalry, no, not a cavalry, sorry, a mechanized and artillery from Slamensk will be joining, as well as a light bomber and 1 tactical. Actually, no, scratch that, sorry. 1 fighter. But light bomber, 1 fighter. The bomber is coming from Moscow. The fighter is coming from Leningrad. So the bomber will have 3, should have 4 left. Yeah, 4 movement left. And the fighter will have 3 movement left. That should be enough. Maybe 1 cavalry will go in to the Baltic states as well. The rest will go into Eastern Poland. So we have an artillery and 3 infantry to dispatch. We'll be fighting that battle with 3 infantry, 2 light tanks, the cavalry, an artillery, and to support that will be a tactical and 2 fighters from Moscow. They have a movement of 5 because of the air base. So that'll be 1, 2, 3. They'll have 2 movement left over. Outside of that, the rest will be non-combat moves. All right, so let's set up our battles. So 2 infantry at 4, and we got 2 infantry, artillery, mechanized, cavalry, a light bomber, and a fighter. Okay. You can see all that? Perfect. All right, so our infantry, we got 2 dice at 2. 1 and a 7. Nice. We have artillery, mech, and cavalry at 3. 5, 7, 8. All missed. Light bomber, 1 at 4. Got a 10. And then our fighter at 6. Got a 6. Perfect. So we got all the hits we needed. Excellent. They return fire. 2 at 4. 2, 11. You can't see that. 11. So we'll lose 1 infantry, and the Baltic states will lose 2 infantry. So we'll award that for us. Move all this and set up the next battle. So they have 4 units total. Hopefully we brought enough stuff. I suspect we do have. Can you see all that? Yeah. Okay. So 1 infantry gets boosted by the artillery. 1 tank gets boosted by the tactical. All right. So we have 2 at 2. 3 and a 7. We got 3 at 3. 2, 6, 8. 1 hit. 1 at 4. 5. 1 at 5. A 7. 2 at 6. 1 and a 12. So we got 2 hits so far, and then 1 at 7. A 2. Can you see that? 2. 3 hits total. So that's all their infantry. Unfortunately, they'll survive with the artillery. All right. They get to return fire. 3 infantry, artillery, all at 4. 6, 7, 8, 2. So we lose 1 guy. They lose 3. And restart. So 1 at 2. 5. 3 at 3. 4, 10, 1. So we got our hit that we needed. 1 at 4. Just get the overkill. 5. 1 at 5. 2 at 6. 1, 5. So that's our overkill for sure. And return 1 at 4. 6. So we lost 2 infantry. Yes. Not good, actually. Not good. Not what I want. All right. Put all this back. Let's do. Sorry. All right, and then all the planes, they'll move back to Pasca. Let's get you back here. So on the non-combat move, all the planes will return to Pasca. Okay. Now for the rest of our non-combat moves, everything in Moscow, all the infantry will move up 1 to Novogorod. The mech artillery will move 2 spaces to Leningrad. The 2 infantry in Smolensk will move to Western Russia. Everything in Kiev will move back 1 to Olar-Kursk. So that's heavy artillery, light tank, mech, artillery, cavalry, 2 infantry. The 1 infantry in eastern Ukraine will stay. Everything in Stalingrad, the light tank and the tank destroyer will move up to Olar-Kursk, and the infantry, both artilleries, 1 heavy, will move 1 space west. All right, so that is it for that. Over in the east, what are we going to do here? All right, so the train will grab 3 infantry and go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 to Amur, and drop 3 guys off here. The light bomber / air transport will take our airborne and move him to Amur as well. The 2 tanks will drive 2 spaces to this territory, TYNDA. That leaves artillery and infantry. 1 infantry will move. 1 infantry and artillery will move to, oh man, this territory. And 1 artillery will move west to Kazakhs, SSR. Kind of splitting up our forces here. The 2 infantry up in this territory moved 1 down to Amur. And these 2 infantry here will just, these 2 here will just stay with the fortification. So we're not declaring war on the Japanese. Not yet, anyways. But it doesn't affect our income. Now, if they declare war on us, then that boosts our economy back, automatically goes to the 48. We're still not at war with the European axis, but boost our income significantly. And it'll also activate the Mongolia rule. So I can't see the Japanese declaring war on the Soviets. That at this point will be foolish. Now, if we declare war against Japan, that negates the Mongolia rule. So no matter what, Mongolia will stay neutral essentially for the whole game, unless the Japanese move in there. And also, it'll also award the Japanese 3 free infantry in Tokyo if we declare war first. And it doesn't affect our income. So we'll see how all that plays out. However, if we do declare war against the Japanese, then Communist China does get a $2 NO bonus every round. So you have to weigh that out. Is it worth giving Japan 3 infantry worth $9? Will you be collecting $2 every turn as long as they're around? So after the 5th turn, or, it'll be economically advantageous for us to give an extra $2 to Communist China, which could result in an extra infantry every round. So we'll see. Unit placement. We have 5 infantry. So the 2 elite guards will go into Krylia with 1 infantry. The other 2 infantry will go into Leningrad. So that's all 5. And for our economy, the unique thing with the Soviets and the Americans, we roll for our economy and it compounds every turn. So we roll 2 dice, and whatever we roll, that's what we'll collect. And then once we get to the 48, for the Russians, 80 for the Americans, and that's when we can declare war. But up until then, there's a lot of restrictions on both countries. So 2 dice. Let's see what we get. An 8 and a 5. Can you see that? An 8 and a 5. So that's what we're going to collect. So the Soviets will have $13 to spend on the next turn, plus $3 for Baltic states and Eastern Poland, and then another 5 on top of that. But that doesn't count towards the 48. It's just extra income. So we got 15, 21 to spend on the next round. And Communist China now has $4. Perfect. All right. That is it for the Soviet Union, Communist China, for the Allies. Again, thank you for watching and have yourself a great day.